So Paddy, thank you for having us down to Liverpool. I've been looking forward to sitting down and having a little chat with you. I reckon you were one of the top graduates of the UFC in 2021. Belter year for you.
Yeah, it was. Very good year. Only I won fight in the UFC as well.
But even like your signing hit the headlines hard. Like we spoke for the European UFC Instagram, things of that nature. A lot of things that I knew it was a little bit more than just a standard signing. Did you feel that?
Yeah, I knew that anyway. I knew when I got signed that they'd make a big deal of it because I'm me. You know what I mean? Just because it's me. I know that anyway. I put bums on seats and I bring hype to shows, and I knew they were going to make a big deal out of it. Not many people get like just signed for the UFC on the actual UFC page when they get signed. You know what I mean? And I got that, and it's just going to keep doing that. Everything's just getting bigger and better as we go along. I keep saying bigger and better, but that's just the way everything's happening. Yeah,
well, it seems that way, and we're going to get into that. But let's start at the debut. Then you said you've only had one appearance for the UFC so far. So how would you grade that performance?
About a 7 out of 10 or something. You know what I mean? It wasn't my best performance. It wasn't my worst. I just wanted to go out there and have a fight, to be honest. I wanted to showcase my hands and let everyone know that I'm not just a grappler, because that's what everyone thought I was, just a grappler. But I'm an all-round MMA fighter and I wanted to show that. But obviously it's not good getting it, but I showed everyone I can take a better punch than 95% of the lightweight division, and I can keep firing back immediately.
So what was the plan, like tactically, going into that fight that you'd set up with Coach Paul and all the other guys, and how different was that from the execution?
Wasn't that much different. We said if we was having trouble on the feet, then we would take him down, but we wasn't having trouble on the feet, know what I mean? He caught me with that one nice punch, and people just seemed to go on about that one punch that he hit me with. That didn't even faze me, didn't put me down, didn't rock me, know what I mean? I literally took a step back and continued to throw punches at him. That's why I was shocked when he took me down, because he hit me with a nice punch, so I was stepped back and was thinking, come on then, let's fight. And then I hit him with like a punch or two and he took me down. I was thinking, what's going on here? That was why my takedown defense looked terrible, because I thought, yeah, he's gonna have a fight now. And then literally he took me down 2 seconds later.
Yeah. After the fight, and I've watched this closely, there were so many different emotions that I saw from you. Like obviously the jubilation, there was a bit of attitude there when you were stood in the middle of the octagon. And I'm just trying to get my head around it all. I obviously want your take on this, but after that big signing and the explosion of like the Paddy The Baddy's joined the UFC and all that kind of stuff, what was it like for you being in the man of the middle after you delivered on saying you were going to get that first round knockout as well? Because I saw all of those different emotions there.
Yeah, it was brilliant, you know what I mean? There's no feeling like getting your hand raised in the cage. I always say that. The only thing I can probably compare it to is watching your wife give birth. Like there's nothing, and I've never seen that. You know what I mean? There's nothing what can compare to getting your hand raised in the cage after you've put so many hard work, how many hard weeks you've put work into the fight camp and the diet and the sacrifices you've made to then get your hand raised. There was a lot of mixed emotions, to be honest. As you say, there was jubilation, there was a bit of anger in there as well. I was a bit...
What was the anger?
Just because people underestimating me and thinking, oh, he's a hype job and all this and that, and I went out there and said exactly what I was going to do.
Yeah. It must be nice to deliver on that.
Yeah, it is, and I'll do the same when it comes to March 19th. He's getting finished in the first round, simple as.
Yeah. One of the things that I really liked about that post-fight celebration was how you attributed a bunch of stuff to all your individual coaches. Like it was almost as if you knew that was a really appropriate time to name check everyone and sort of thank them for their efforts. And after spending the last couple of days with you, I can see you've got a real tight bond with your whole team.
Yeah, I have everyone that's part of our team. It's like a family, you know what I mean? We're not like a team, we're not like a gym. Like other people, they go to a gym and start training in a gym. We're more like a family, we're a unit. Like, yeah. I couldn't see myself ever training anywhere else, like full time. I'll go and train in other gyms and broaden my horizons and stuff like that, but I'll never leave Next Generation. I'll always be part of Next Generation, and I'll never have a different boxing gym to the no-name gym. It's that simple.
And I just, it's now coming back to me, obviously Molly, who's come out from the back, and she celebrated your win harder than I've seen some people celebrate their own win. And again, that relationship, you've clearly got a very strong bond.
Yeah, she's my big sister. I always say it, lads. She's my big sister in the gym. I've got an actual sister, big sister, but in the gym she is my big sister. You know what I mean? Like the bond in our gym, it's unbreakable. No one would be able to mess with it. Yeah. That's simple.
Very nice. And Coach Paul Rimmer, I've known him for many, many years now, from when I was at Cage Warriors, before you'd even really started coming up in that direction. And I don't know if many people have recognised this, but you're not the first. Obviously, you and Molly aren't the first sort of wave of fighters that he brought to the UFC. And the one that comes to mind that I don't think gets enough credit is Rosie Sexton.
Yeah.
And I was speaking with Paul earlier, and he was telling me how you guys actually used to spend quite a lot of time together when you were a wee boy.
Yeah, when I was like 15, 16, I was one of Rosie's main sparring partners. That's how I first started fighting, really. Paul asked me if I wanted to get in the cage and spar with Rosie for some of her upcoming fights. And like, Rosie's the first ever woman from the UK to fight in the UFC. You know what I mean? She's a pioneer of women's MMA. Paul doesn't get enough credit for that, but you know, over the next few years I'll make sure he gets credit for what we do.
What's it been like witnessing the kind of different waves and those kind of notable athletes that have come through the gym before you? Yeah,
we've had a lot of them, lads, you know what I mean? We've seen UFC fighters come and go. Even before I joined the next generation, literally, you just had people like Paul Sass there, who one fight after he left Next Gen started fighting in the UFC. So, as I say, Paul doesn't get enough credit, but back then it was literally just Paul. Now we've got a full team. We've got Ellis as assistant head coach. Well, he's basically joint head coach, and then we've got Adam as assistant head coach, and we've got all the other coaches in the gym. And now it's just, we've got the complete package. You know what I mean? Every base is sorted. Like, I have my own boxing coach in Chris Williams. We have Paul Reed. Without Paul Reed, I genuinely don't know where it'd be right now. Me S&C coach and nutritionist. I just can see by my face now, I'm nearly on weight now. If it comes to it, and they said the fight's getting moved and we're fighting in a week's time, I could make weight in a week's time, right, because my nutrition is on point. I've actually had to start eating more food this week to keep the weight on me, right, because I don't want to go too low.
Nice. And on the back of this victory, this debut, socials, something that I find myself talking about way more than what I did like 5-10 years ago. But your socials absolutely blew up. What was that like? Yeah,
it was crazy, you know what I mean? I always said it was going to happen though. Like, if you go back and watch podcasts or interviews of me, I think I probably said it when we done that interview for UFC Europe. Said, I know for a fact when I have my debut, when I win the fight, when I have one interview, everyone will know who I am.
Why do you have that confidence?
I don't even know why I have that confidence, to be honest, John. I've got no idea. I was born with it.
Did you also maybe see like a little bit of a gap in the market where there weren't as many fighters from maybe the English-speaking part of the world that spoke like you, approached it like you, and you thought my personality type would definitely resonate with this fan base?
No.
I'm overthinking all of that, aren't I?
Because I'm not putting on an act.
No.
Like, you see a lot of people put acts on and try and be a different person when the cameras turn on. Like, people think I do that. But all they've got to do is come and spend a day with me.
Yeah, you don't.
And they'll realise that I am the same when there's a camera on to when there's a camera off. Yeah. I'm not putting on no act to try and get followers on social media or money. I'm just me, and I'll never be fake for anyone. That's why I have so many social media accounts taken off me, because I'm real. Right. And if someone says something that'll piss me off, I'll tell them straight. And, you know, the social media accounts let the trolls and the bullies win.
Yeah. Well, with the social media stuff, a few things that I caught hold of. We love a looky-likey over here. And I think a lot of this comes from the old football programmes on the TV. You know what I'm talking about. We heard Owen Wilson, that was good. Do you know the one that absolutely done me? He-Man.
He-Man, yeah. He-Man's a belter, lad.
I love that. But what other ones did you get?
There's like Owen Hart.
Owen Hart, yeah.
Everyone keeps tagging me in that picture of Owen Hart and Mike Tyson, saying, when did you meet Mike Tyson? Obviously, Jay Cartwright off the In-Betweeners.
Yes, yeah, of course.
Everyone mentions that one. Trying to think now. Pavel Nedved. That's another one, lad. Everyone says Nedved.
I love that. And we'll get onto the football stuff later, but no, that was really good. But then on your socials, I got to ask you about this. There was this imposter that appeared. He looked like Paddy, but he had these big old cheeks on him. Where's that guy? I was like, holy hell!
Yeah,
like,
that guy.
You can change a bit out of camp.
Yeah, he goes missing for 12 weeks, him lad, and I look like this. You know what I mean? But that's the real me, lad. That's the fat and happy Paddy. You know what I mean? I get a lot of flack for that.
I bet you do.
He's not a proper professional, this and that. But you try and diet for 10, 12 weeks at a time, lad, and not eat a chocolate bar for 12 weeks when your favourite thing is a chocolate bar. Yeah. And then when you can finally indulge again. I say it every time, I'm going to keep my weight down after this fight, going to keep my weight down. And it blew up because, as I told you yesterday, lad, after the fight I'll get 3 meals and like desserts. I can't help it. Like, when I go for food with people, they sit there looking at me like, are you really eating that as well? You know what I mean? Like, I finish me mate's dinners off and then order dessert. It's just what I've got a bottomless pit, lad. No one's, like, I swear to God, I could do eating challenges, just not in like a time limit, but I could eat more. Like, after this fight, I'm going to do a 15,000 calorie challenge.
Yeah, no, oh no.
Easy. I can do 15,000 calories easy. I reckon on a normal, like the week after my fight, on a normal day, I'll do like 7,000 calories.
What's the weakness?
Desserts, cookie dough.
Cookie dough?
Yeah, like
nice.
Cookie dough and brownies and cheesecake and that. But then at the same time, just any sort of main meal. Like, I love Thai food, I love burgers, I love pizzas.
Come on, dude, what about the roast?
Italians.
What about the roasties?
Roast dinner. A lad, I go to my mate's pub, the Wheat Chief, and get a roast dinner in there. And I went just before the start of my diet. It was the last day, the Sunday.
Right.
And I nailed man. Lou, my mate Lou, he's like that. He only eats half his dinner, so I took his dinner off him and ate the rest of his.
I bet you take him to most of your dates, yeah?
Oh, I'd love to. I had some of his birds, some of my birds, and then they had roasties left over, so they brought a thing with roasties out, and I had some roasties. Then I had a chocolate fudge cake for dessert after.
Of course you did. Nice.
And in fact, I finished half my bird's chocolate fudge cake, and I got a sticky toffee pudding with custard.
That's proper pub grub.
Yeah, proper gear.
The Mighty Reds. I know you love your Liverpool.
Oh yeah.
Liverpool FC. When you were a kid, whose shirt were you wearing?
Well, my favourite number's 15 because of Patrick Berger.
Oh really?
Yeah. And yeah, Patrick Berger, man, what a guy. But yeah, my favourite number's 15 because of Patrick Berger. It wouldn't be if it wasn't for him. He wore the number 15 shirt.
I love that. Anyone else? Are you like friendly with any of the Liverpool players these days?
I chat with Harvey Elliott, know what I mean? Right. Yeah, I have a chat with Harvey Elliott, but Andy Robertson follow me on Instagram. But that's about it, know what I mean? They're very busy people, aren't they, lad? Yeah. After my last fight, I had messages off Danny Murphy and Jose Enrique. Right. Which is brilliant, because like, I remember watching Danny Murphy win the fake treble with us years ago, the UEFA Cup, the FA Cup and the League Cup, know what I mean? In 2001 when I was a proper kid. So when he was in my DMs, I was like, oh my God, this is amazing. And
you're not just like, and there's nothing wrong with just a fan that follows from afar, but you're there. You're like you're away with the away guys. Yeah. Like you're a travelling fan. Yeah, which takes a lot of commitment.
I'm not an armchair. Like I'm a proper fan. I even had a season ticket when we had Roy Hodgson as the manager, lad. Know what I mean? And they were some sad days. They were some dire days, mate. Like where you never thought you were ever going to get out of it, but. The saviour come along, lad, Mr. Jurgen Klopp.
Oh, he's our manager.
The Messiah. He is the main man. Without him, I don't know where Liverpool Football Club would be now. And we're on for the quadruple this year, lad. Can't wait to go to Wembley and go back to Anfield South and watch us lift another trophy. I'm interested to know what young Paddy was like. What were you like generally as a kid? I get mixed reviews, lad. Know what I mean? And sometimes I was a little shit and sometimes a lovely little kid, you know what I mean? Just depends what mood you would have got me in. When you were at school, what were you like there? All the teachers used to like me, like, you know what I mean? Well, they said they liked me, but they just said I used to like to mess around too much and just be myself, basically, you know what I mean? The Paddy we know. Yeah, exactly. But I was pretty smart in school, lad. Every subject I done, I passed. I got like B's and A's in, you know what I mean? So nice. That's why my mum and dad wanted me to go to college, and like I did go to college for a bit. Oh, you did? Yeah, okay. I went to college for a bit. What were you studying? History, sociology, citizenship, something else. Jeez, that kind of heavy. Yeah, it was. What were your early ambitions then? I wanted to be a teacher.
Did you really?
Yeah.
Why do you think you, with your character, because you're quite playful,
yeah.
I mean, that's not a bad character to have as a teacher, I suppose, but yeah, I wouldn't have said that.
No, I wouldn't have myself. But I did. I wanted to be a teacher for a bit.
Right.
I wanted to be a singer when I was a kid. I applied for Britain's Got Talent when I was like 12 or so. I mean,
no,
when I was like
you didn't.
10. Yeah.
Can you sing a little song?
No,
I'm not now.
Yeah.
But just
I can have a go. Like, my bird says I can't, like, but I kind of know for a fact I can.
Right.
Yeah, I'd done the talent show in like year 4 and year 6 in our school and was in the finals and that. I think I won it in year 4, to be honest.
Did you really?
Yeah.
I mean, you know, without sort of pumping you up a bit, I can see as a front man.
Yeah.
I think you got that about you.
Yeah, in year 4 I sang Where Is the Love by the Black Eyed Peas, and in year 6 I sang I'll Be Missing You by P. Diddy, because one of the teachers was leaving.
Oh, look at you. It's not true what they said. You've got a soft heart, really, haven't you? Singing your teachers on their way. I love that. That's going to come back to haunt you. One thing that actually might coincide with your ambitions of being a teacher is you like to give back, particularly to your community. I've noted that about you.
Yeah.
You're quite vocal about it as well. Where does that come from, and what kind of things have you got in mind?
Well, to be honest, I've been speaking to Paul about it quite a lot recently. I wanna create my own charity, just like Dustin Poirier's done. Know what I mean? He gives back to like kids in his community.
Yeah.
I'd love to do something along them lines. I had it nice growing up compared to others. Know what I mean? I didn't have the same stuff as some of my mates got. All my mates had all sorts. I just got by, but still, I had better opportunities than a lot of people. I look at little people like Baby Lee, and I just think of how lucky I am, know what I mean, to be born with health, know what I mean, and some people aren't that lucky, and I always try and share GoFundMe pages for every sort of different person possible, people whose dads have died, people who need to raise money for surgeries and for treatment, and I think making my own charity would be the best way to do that.
Nice one. Yeah, oh, it's great to see you using your platform for that. With all of that, I know from our mutual friend, Nick Peet, journalist, he told me way back when, because he's here on the ground in Liverpool, that kids were going into barbershops and they were looking to get the Paddy the Baddy haircut. And I was like, that is brilliant. Because at the time, this is years ago as well. What's it like to hear stories like that? And I guess on a more macro sense, be a kind of fashion icon, no, an inspiration to the younger generation.
It's boss, know what I mean? Like, when I see kids with like my sort of hairstyle, it always puts a smile on my face, because I know some kids have went in the barbers and said, oh, can you have it like Paddy the Baddy? There's a young lad in our gym called Noah who goes the same hairdresser as me now.
Does he really?
Yeah, he goes the same hairdresser as me to get his trim. I went into a school the other week to see the kids and to chat to them and that, and one of the kids in there asked me what shampoo do we use. I swear, lad.
Kids ask the best questions.
The best, lad. It was on my vlog and I just started laughing my head off straight away. I was like, I don't even know, you know, mate, the missus buys it. Because I think it's herbal essences, I'm not sure, lad, but Laura buys it, so it's one of them. I don't go shopping.
Love that. So yeah, it does look like I mean, everyone would want to know what that hair care routine is like. But you're right at the spearhead now with this group of very promising fighters from the UK that are doing like really great things. We've got Leon staring at that title shot, you know, big Tom Aspinall headlining, Darren, I mean, a lot of activity here in Liverpool. Now you're amongst that group of people. So from your martial arts perspective, there's a lot of your footprints there. How does that make you feel?
It's brilliant, because we noticed that after I've headlined on the Echo Arena Cage Warriors, we noticed how much more active the gym was for young kids. You know what I mean? When I done that first Cage Warriors title fight, there was a big boom in MMA in Liverpool. Every gym had a lot more kids in it, and I don't want to sound big-headed here, but it's thanks to me looking like your normal average kid walking around on the street with
He-Man haircut.
Exactly, with an haircut like most other kids have. I haven't got a single tattoo. I'm not a big roided up machine, know what I mean? I'm just a normal kid from a housing estate in Iton.
Yeah. And you've achieved this through martial arts. So when did you actually step foot on the mat, and what was the discipline?
Well, I know the exact date.
Love it.
It was the 20th of January 2010. I stepped on the mat in the old Next Generation in the 051 gym. And first class I'd done, I jumped on the mat, and it was a kids class taught by Fishy and Sweeney. And
Chris Fishgold.
Yeah,
right.
and Danny Sweeney, 2 lads who were going pro a few weeks later. And it's funny because I jumped on the mat and I just jumped in rolling and stuff. And a lad who was coming for a couple of months, I nearly guillotined when I didn't know what I was doing, you know what I mean? I can remember Sweeney grabbing Fishy and going like, he knows what he's doing here. And I was like, I didn't know what I was doing, I was just, and he come over to me after and was like, have you done anything before? I was like, nah, you know, mate, I haven't done nothing. He was like, yeah, keep at it. And then I'd done the jiu-jitsu class after it and the Muay Thai class after it. I got beat up by a female in the Muay Thai class. And as I say, the old saying goes, the rest is history. I didn't stop coming. I kept going back every single day. I didn't do Thai for a little month after that because the gloves in the corner absolutely stunk. And I had to keep selling in school to save me money up to get a decent pair of gloves.
Oh, what do you mean you have to keep selling in school?
Selling Lucozades and discos and chocolate bars in school. That's how I used to pay for my gym, lad.
A little side hustle.
Yeah, my mum couldn't afford to pay £60 a month in the gym, so I had to sell sweets in school to pay for my gym and pay for my equipment. I never had a pair of shorts, like MMA shorts, for about 2 months. They were about them sprawl shorts that I got the first pair. I got the blue and white.
Yeah.
They were about 50 quid. And I had to buy gloves first and then buy shorts.
I got the same pair as those. Yeah. You know, they're a really heavy material.
Yeah, everyone had them, lad, because they had grey and red ones and they had a few other different colours.
Yeah. Oh, very cool. So yeah, a little hustler back in the day to make it happen. I'm interested in you saying that it wasn't the fact that you got beaten up by a girl, but the sheer fact that you got bettered and bested early on as a teenager when, you know, as young men, that probably doesn't do our ego very good. But you went back. Yeah. Why do you think you went back and not throw the towel in early?
I don't know, to be honest. I've never been a quitter in anything I've done. Never quit. It's just not in me. I pride myself on the fact that I'll keep coming forward, and I'll do that in fights. Yeah. No matter how many smacks you give me or how many times you elbow me on the floor, I'll keep trying to submit you, I'll keep trying to knock you out. It's that simple. Yeah. I'm one of them, lad, where if I'm 4 rounds down and Paul says to me, you're 4 rounds down, I'll fucking run over that cage and try and knee you in the face dead quick, and I'll keep scrapping till there's 5 seconds left, 2 seconds left. I'll keep swinging till the end of the bell.
Nice. I remember at Cage Warriors Forum, for the uninitiated, was like a real hotbed for interaction in the UK particularly, maybe even for Europe, because obviously Cage Warriors being such a prominent fight promotion at the time. You were an amateur on the way up, and evidence of your character now, you went on there and you called out the amateur scene, didn't you?
Yeah, I was 4-0 at the time, and I just beat Scott Gregory, I think, and I put on the amateur. It's funny because the amateur forum didn't get used that much, and then when I put this in, it started getting used. It had the most responses and likes ever on the amateur forum, and I just put, I am the best amateur bantamweight in the country. Does anyone dispute this?
And at what age were you at this point?
16.
Love it.
And everyone started putting different names in, saying beat him, beat him, beat him. And I think there ended up being like a list of 7 names, and I beat 5 of the 7. Impressive. And after beating them, Paul just said, he won't fight you and he won't fight you, so you need to just go pro.
Right. And I remember, well, I recently went back and watched that debut of yours, mate. You looked like a boy. Yeah. But you still had that intense stare. But less, I don't think you looked quite as comfortable, obviously, as what you do now. What is it? You've had 20 fights pro now. But your ferocity, even at that age, really surprised me. It was pretty impressive. Do you remember that debut and the emotions you were going through?
I remember that debut very well, lad, against Chicken. Well, we call him Chicken. His name is Nathan Thompson. He was a veteran of the UK MMA scene. He's fought all sorts of people. But so a lad who used to train with us, he caught him in a choke in the first round a couple of years before and nearly chickened him. So we call him Chicken. We always called him Chicken ever since. And I went into that fight and I just put him straight on his back, and I caught him with a big naughty elbow, and I gave him a big hematoma on his head. It's funny when you watch it back because I elbow him and then I start throwing punches and he taps the strikes, and I get up and walk away and I'm like I wanted to carry on, know what I mean? I was like, I could fight someone else that night. And when you watch the video back, it's funny because his corner man runs in and puts ice on his head and he goes, ah. But he's got a big hematoma on his head. But I always laugh when I look back at that fight now because you could tell I was hammering the sunbeds. I had a big tan, lad. I must have done when I'd done 6 or 9 minutes or something 2 days before, lad. I had a horrible tan on that, lad, and like a 2 and a 1. And the head was a proper shaving.
Very different, very different. But you, obviously you showed glimpses, just the way you move. Your frame just didn't suggest to me that you were going to move the way that you did. And yeah, it was a good win. And then you've put together some real standout performances. Is it Conrad Hayes? Is that the fight we did, the flying triangle?
Yeah.
Again, like, where did that come from?
Well, it's funny because everyone thinks I've got 2 flying triangles on my record, but I've actually got 3. The fight after that Nathan Thompson fight in the Olympia on Omagh, I flying triangled someone called Dougie Scott.
Okay.
He pushed me against the cage and he got flying triangled.
Because it doesn't look like the natural position where you would attempt that. It's really high risk, high reward.
But I think
that's how you fight, right?
Yeah, that's how I fight. High risk, high reward. I'm a bit wild. I like fighting like that. Know what I mean? That's what I always say. You can't prepare to fight me because I'm a little weirdo. You can't prepare to have a fight with me because you don't know what I'm going to do next. I can jump in with a flying knee, I can jump a flying triangle, I could just put you on your back and sit on top of you for 3 rounds if I really wanted to. But I don't want to do that because no one wants to watch that.
Right.
And like...
That's important to you, isn't it?
Yeah, it's important to me. It's a fight, you know what I mean? People, as Paul says, if you had a footy match in the World Cup final and penalties go on, there's a fight in the crowd, people are going to start watching the fight. It's primitive.
Yeah.
And people want to see fights. They don't want to see a grappling match. You know what I mean? So that's why even when I take people down, it's not like a grappling match. I'll beat you up until you give me a submission. Or if you want to just rest, I'll land major elbows on you until you give me a submission. Like, I like entertaining people. Like, it might be a fight sport, but it's still the entertainment business.
For sure. Your debut, and you said earlier there was a couple of moments you got caught, but I think, correct me if I'm wrong here, but going back through your career, you do take your fans on a bit of a roller coaster. Like, that's not in isolation, that UFC debut, if you've been a Paddy fan. And you haven't been knocked out yet, you know?
I always say it, lad, it takes a punch for me to get woke up.
Right.
I'm a weirdo. Like, if you go back and watch all my fights, I always get it first, and then I go, yeah, knuckle down, come on. I don't know, I go into fights a little bit too lackadaisic at first, and then I get it with a shot, and I'm like, fucking hell, yeah, Pad, you're in a fight here. Come on, you need to switch on.
Yeah, yeah. There's been some big moments already, and apart from those little ones, I think a big one's obviously taking that Cage Warriors title.
Yeah.
Tell us about that experience, because it's not just the belt there. There were other things that made up that whole story.
Yeah, like, winning that Cage Warriors belt was unbelievable. Like, I love looking back at it, because it's funny. I shoot a takedown, and he stuffs it with ease. And I sit on the floor looking up at him, and I shake my head, and I go, oh my God, what have you just done? And as I stand up, literally, Rich Mitchell goes and I step in with the flying knee and then land the punch. I'm angry with myself, and then I land that shot straight away. And like, that's one of the best feelings I've ever had in the cage, you know what I mean? I jump straight over to me mates, straight over to my corner, then straight over the other side to me mates, and then jumped over the other side to my family. Yeah.
That was at the Echo, right?
That was at the Echo, yeah.
What was that like?
Next level.
The Echo's in Liverpool.
Yeah. Unbelievable. That's why I always say I can't wait to do Anfield. I know one day I'm going to fill that arena out.
Realistically, honestly?
I know for a fact. I've visualised it, I've seen it.
How many seats are there at Anfield?
Nearly 60,000 now. So then add the pitch in, it's at least 65. I'll sell that out on my own with no undercard.
Like on Boxing Days,
yeah,
like that?
Never mind with other people fighting on the card, on a UFC card. I'd sell that out on my own.
Is that a bigger dream of yours than the belts?
Yeah.
Nice.
It is. Giving back to me people, me city, you know what I mean? It'd be even better if it was for the belt.
Yeah.
In Anfield. Because then we can add the UFC championships, the 6 European Cups and 19 league titles.
Yeah, I love that. What's the pressure though like, mate? Because there's us normal human beings that don't even we don't know what that walk's like in front of all of those people and all of those cameras, lights, etc. Then you add in a full home crowd, like, that's heavy.
Yeah, that's what I always say. The two times I've lost decisions have been in the Echo Arena. and like I've had the whole pressure of the city on my shoulders, and both fights I shouldn't have fought. The first one I killed myself to make weight, and then the second one I had a broken hand and I dieted to weight. So when I got in the cage, my opponent was like 10 kg heavier than me. But you know, you live and you learn. You've just got to get on with it. I got a nice payday off them. It helped me pay my mum's mortgage off. So there's nothing that I can't argue on that front. But when you look back now, I needed them losses to realise what sort of opportunity I had.
Yeah. You've spoken about your party days, and I think that, I don't know if that's around the same sort of time. Yeah,
it's around the time of the first arena loss. When I lost the belt, I was out partying all the time. I wasn't a dedicated professional. I was a little tit, to be honest.
Are you angry at yourself now looking back, or are you at peace with it all?
I'm at peace with it now, like, but at the time I was very angry with myself, and it made me learn a lot of life lessons. It made me realise who the real ones were around me and who I should be listening to and who I shouldn't be listening to, and it made me realise a lot about the opportunities I've got in front of me, because people would kill to be in the position I was in, and they still would now. Like, I have mates who get up at 6 AM to go and work on a building site. They do anything to be in the position I'm in. So, not even just for them. Like, my dad's worked hard his whole life to provide for us. My mum, she's a workaholic. She doesn't stop working. I don't want to be like that. I'm gonna earn enough money through fighting and through other things that I won't have to be in work 24/7. I'll be able to watch my kids grow up and not have to give them a key to let themselves in and do microwave meals.
Yeah. Well, you just brought up your family, so I don't actually know what the family unit looks like, you know, with everyone in it. And what does everyone do for a living?
Well, my mum works like 3 different jobs, lad.
Really?
Yeah, she cuts old people's hair, and she does 12-hour shifts in a pub, and she's had other jobs as well. My dad's been in and out of work his whole life, but work he shouldn't have been doing. So sometimes he wasn't around, and it wasn't of his own choice. He couldn't be there because of the powers that be, but he always done what he could to provide for us, and that's the main thing that sticks out in my head. You know what I mean? He always done whatever he could to put food on the table for us, whether he'd put himself in harm's way or not.
Did you say you had a sister?
Yeah, I've got an older sister who's like 11.5 years older than me.
Right.
Like, I had a nephew when I was about 11.
Right,
you know what I mean?
Okay.
Yeah, he's
Uncle
like,
Paddy.
Yeah, he's like 15 now.
Really?
Yeah, she's got 4 kids, and my brother's like 5.5 years older than me.
Right.
And he's got a little girl now as well, so...
What do they all think about your chosen career?
No one expected it at first, because I'm the baby, you know what I mean? I get called... I'm the baby out of all the grandkids as well, so I was Baby Patrick. That was my name for years, and no one expected it, to be honest. No one expected it at all. I just started training one day, and then when I said I'm fighting, they were like, "Oh yeah, it's on." And then when I said I was going pro at 17, they were like, "You're going to carry on going to college?" I was like, "I don't want to." Like, "No, you're going to college." You know what I mean? And I got kicked out just before my pro debut, to be honest. Got kicked out the house. Of home.
Oh really?
Because college sent letters out saying I was missing lessons when I dropped one of my lessons, and they sent a letter out saying that I was skipping lessons when I weren't. I dropped that lesson. Right. I wasn't doing it no more.
Okay.
And I ended up having an argument with my mum and getting kicked out the week before my pro debut.
Oh dear.
Never forget it, I had a doner kebab the Monday before my pro debut. Because I had that, like, couldn't have nothing else to eat, you know what I mean? I had to go and eat something. I didn't have no money on me. My mate Chris had to get me something from Pizza Castle lad on Pilch Lane.
Right.
And I had a doner kebab and chips the Monday before my pro debut on the Saturday.
That's a mad one looking at. Isn't that crazy? Did they watch you fight?
Yeah, my dad's been to every single fight that he could. Nice. Apart from COVID, obviously, my dad's been to every single fight. My dad and my uncle, because my dad's got a twin. My dad and my uncle John been to every single fight, and my granddad's been to every fight bar one in Dublin because he never had a passport.
Okay. Yeah. Didn't have a passport?
No, like 4 days before I was leaving, he gave me mum money and a passport photo and said, "Get us a passport there, Jack." And my mum's like, "You can't get one that soon. What are you up to?" You know what I mean? Yeah. But I know for a fact I'm going to end up taking over America again later on this year, or Abu Dhabi, or wherever it is that I end up getting another fight. And the Scouse Army will take over. The English invasion will happen.
So you from my knowledge, did get asked to sign with the UFC a little bit earlier on in your career. Like, how old were you and where were you at in the stage of your like pro fights?
Well, they offered me twice, to be honest. I said no twice, but the first time I was 21, I was 13-1, I'd just won the featherweight title. And at the time, Cage Warriors offered me a big new bumper contract. I don't think any 21-year-old had ever been offered that sort of money. And I was getting paid in pounds sterling, and I was still fighting in local in the UK. And me and Paul sat down and talked about it, and we said we'd be stupid not to say yes to this offer, so we knocked the UFC back. And then once again, when UFC Liverpool was about to happen, they wanted me on UFC Liverpool, so the second time, just after I'd won by flying triangle against Teddy Violet, they offered me again for that card, and at the time, I already had a holiday book for me missus's 21st in Mexico. And he said that they were coming back to the Echo Arena anyway in September, and I was main eventing. So once again, my hand was a bit dodgy at the time as well. So once again, I said no. Said yeah, we're not ready.
How hard is it to say no to the UFC?
It's hard, like, but when you've got this much belief in yourself, it's not that hard. Because I knew full well that they were going to ask me again. I got asked plenty of times. I got told plenty of times, "Oh, you're stupid. You lot never went to the UFC. You'll never get there now." Sound lad.
Look at me now.
Yeah, I said to every one of them, it's not a question of if they'll sign me, it's when. Just watch, wait and see. And I was right, lad, weren't I?
Yeah, and when you did, we got to know all about you, particularly your entrance. I mean, it is so. I've got to celebrate it. What a way to get a fight started. So many people, again, I said earlier about a few people would even know what it's like to make that walk, and they'd be thinking, fight, strategy, getting in the right frame of mind. Yours is like a carnival. Like, what is that about?
I just love fighting, lad. I do. I enjoy it. So I take it all in my stride. Like, I like to make the entrance as entertaining as possible for the people there. And I've been using the same song now for about...
What's the story behind the song? Because there's something specific about it, isn't there?
Yeah, the song, like, I used to love both of the songs, what get mixed in together when I was going out, and a local DJ, I asked them to put the two songs together, because obviously the first song, Lethal Industry, it doesn't drop into anything, it just does the dun 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 dun. So because that just does that, I had to get it to drop into something else.
Yeah.
And Where's Your Head, that's just a perfect tune for it to drop into. So he made it for me, we sent it to Cage Warriors, and that was it, you know what I mean? I think the first ever time I might have used it was FCC in Bolton.
Right.
But it just become a mainstay of me, and I'll never change it.
That's going to remain the whole way through?
Yeah, that's going to be... I've had a good few people message me saying, "Oh, come out to Sweet Caroline, come out to You'll Never Walk Alone," and it's my song, lad. I'll be coming out to my song. Like, people don't even know what the name of the songs are. Right. It's funny, I've been sent... my mates have been sitting in the car listening to the radio, and they video where people ring up on radio stations and say, play Paddy The Baddy's Walkout. You know what I mean? People ring radio stations and say that because they don't know the name of the song.
Right. Oh, that's got to feel good. And it is, I love it. I love a walkout. It's such an important, for me as a commentator, it's a really important time to set the table. But actually, there's no point in really saying a great deal at that point when someone like you comes out dancing all the way. I think it says volumes about what's about to happen. Does it set you up in a certain way? Does it get you does it actually calm you down and distract you from the fact you're about to go to war?
I really don't know, you know what I mean? It reminds me of being younger, because they're the sort of songs that we used to listen to when we was in Ibiza and stuff like that when I was a kid. Right. It does, it takes me back, and it gets me hyped up, you know what I mean? Yeah. It gets me going, and like, it's funny, if it ever comes on while I'm running, my pace immediately gets better, does, yeah. You know what I mean? Like, my pace immediately just goes better and better, and I don't even mean it, don't realise I'm doing it. It just happens. Yeah. And the fact that my hair bounces everywhere, I think a lot of people love it because of that. You know what I mean? My hair bounces everywhere, and yeah. It's my song now. It'll identify with me forever. Whenever I hear that song, I think I walk into the cage. But as soon as that cage door shuts, you forget about the carnival, what's around you, and you focus on the one man that's in the way of your future, of your happiness.
It's going to be interesting to see how everyone responds around the world to that walkout as well, and getting involved. So, what's the goal with this fighting stuff then, Paddy?
I want to be able to live a comfortable life for the rest of my life. You know what I mean? I don't want to have to worry about anything.
What does that mean? Does that translate into belts and things of that nature?
Yeah, because belts, money comes with belts, doesn't it? People say, oh, I'm in it for the money, but without getting to the top of the sport, you're not getting that sort of money. Simple as. Unless you become a world champion or you're challenging for world titles, you don't get that sort of money. It's the people at the top of the sport who are getting it. But as I've already said, lad, when you get into this sport, if your goal isn't to be the best fighter ever, you're in the wrong game.
Right.
If you're here to make up the numbers, go and join a footy team.
Right. Have you seen a pathway that you want to emulate, or if you haven't, and I think I know how you might answer this, what's the kind of pathway that you want to carve for yourself?
I just want to keep beating people up, lad. I don't look too far into the future. I visualise and imagine into the future, but I don't like... I'm just focusing on Rodrigo Vargas. He's the person in the way at the minute. Once I beat him, I'll have a nice little month for chilling and eating what I want and doing what I want, and then I'll have a new target when I get a new opponent. Like, I still train in that time, but because I indulge and I eat as much as I want, I still go fat. But that's what it takes. Like, I like enjoying myself for a bit, but for now, I have a target, and his name's Rodrigo Vargas, and once I take his head clean off, I'll be able to chill for a few weeks, and then I'll have a new target, and I'll keep climbing the ladder that way. I'm not out here saying, oh, I'm gonna fight Charles Oliveira on November the 12th, 2024. Know what I mean? Because anything can happen in between that time. I do want to be world champion. I am gonna be world champion, but I've got a lot to do in the process before that. I'm not just calling out world champions and saying I want to fight them. I think I'll beat anyone. Know what I mean? Like, put anyone in that cage with me at lightweight and I'll beat them. But I know that I can't just start fighting top 15s immediately.
London O2, March 19th. What can we expect?
I can expect another show-stopping performance from the Baddy. Like I said it last time, everyone will be talking about me when this show's over. And the same with this one.
You said the performance, but what about the show? You're going to bring the show as well?
Yeah, like I hope they do a press conference and that the week of the fight, lad. I'm hoping they do all that, know what I mean? Because I will steal the show before the show's even started. Like, everyone will be going to be asking me questions, they won't be asking anyone else. It'll all be about me, and it's going to be funny, because I'm not the main event. You see the value in all of this stuff, don't you? Yeah, I enjoy it, know what I mean? Other people don't like the media stuff and that, but I enjoy it, lad. It helps me pass time. It helps me sit there and talk about the fights, talk about other things going on inside, like the UFC and the MMA world, and it gives me a little couple of hours where I don't think about food.
Well, I don't want you to get too hungry sitting here, Paddy. Taken enough of your time as well. Thank you very much for opening up today, and I look forward to seeing you in London, March 19th.
Oh, you are more than welcome. I cannot wait to steal the show in London on March 19th. It's going to be absolutely spectacular.
Can't wait. See you there.